Nigeria's Governors Forum (NGF) yesterday attributed its neutral position on the recent declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State to the need to steer clear of taking positions that may alienate members with varying political interests. Taking positions on contentious partisan issue, the NGF said would not augur well for it, especially in view of its past experience in fundamental division. Special advisor to the President on Senate matters, Senator Bashir Ladu, said the action of the President was meant to ensure protection of lives and restoration of law and order in the state, while the President's Special Advisor on Media and Public Communications, Sunday Dare, said his principle was required to avert needless harm and destruction. National Publicity Secretary of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Felix Moka, said Tinubu, by his actions, declared that had manifested as a constitutional crisis in Rivers State. But former President Goodluck Jonathan saw it from a different perspective. He described abuse of office and power by the three arms of government in the country as a dent on Nigeria's image. The NGF, in a statement by its Director General Abdul Latif Shitu, said it is essentially an umbrella body for sub-national governments to promote unified policy positions and collaborate with relevant stakeholders in pursuit of sustainable socio-economic growth and the well-being of the people. It added, as a technical and policy help comprising governors elected on different platforms, the body elects to stay clear of taking positions that may alienate members with varying political interests. In whatever language it is written, taking positions on contentious partisan issues would mean a poor sense of history, just a few years after the forum survived the fundamental division following political differences amongst its members. Regardless, the forum is reputed for its bold position on governance and general policy matters of profound consequences such as wages, taxes, education, and universal health care, amongst others. It asks for the understanding of the public and the media, confident that appropriate platforms and crisis management mechanisms would take care of any such issues. What are your thoughts on the NGF's position on this issue in Rivers State?
Well, you know, I sympathize with them. Let me tell you why I do sympathize with them. Is that peer leadership is the strongest and the hardest leadership. You know, the NGF is the Association of Governors, even though those are not constitutional things, meaning that a governor can decide not to be a member or can decide to do whatever he wanted to do. It doesn't, if there's a relationship, a bilateral relationship, and a relationship between two governors based on policies, of course they can relate. And so when you are leading such things, you know that there are divergent interests. You don't want to take a program, and I think they are teaching the churches. They're teaching the churches what to do. A pastor will stand on the pulpit knowing that as a pastor you are the father of so many interests, and there's something you don't say, especially during those election period between Obi and all of that. Some of us will look at our pastors, and the pastor will say, "Hey, you know this person." I will say, one day I walked to my pastor. He's a big pastor. I went to my pastor and said, "Sir," he said, "Honorable, this why people are in this place." I said, "Sir, do you know what you're doing? You are fighting me. And don't wear jersey, because if you wear jersey and come to the field, I wouldn't know that you're my pastor. I will ruffle you." And it's simple as that. So most times the NGF is like that. They're looking at these situations. They are peer groups, and so what would they? There are people. They already know that there are people who are that has the capacity of dropping NGF immediately, because governors who are supporting this, or governor who is anti this, can say, "No, now why are you taking this?" It will balkanize them. So one of the things they will need to do is to probably go back. You can speak on an individual level as governor, but not as NGF. So I understand with them. So if you ask me, I will say that let them
the safe position is much better for them
in this field.
Thank you so much for your insights on that report. Now, independent National Electoral Commission has formally received a petition from constituents of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan calling for the commencement of her recall process. The secretary to the commission, Rose Orira Anthony, received the petition, which was submitted at INEC's headquarters in Abuja on Monday. Natasha, who represents Kogi Central in the Senate, is currently on suspension for allegedly flouting the Senate rules. According to the petitioners, over 250,000 constituents signed the petition out of about 480,000 registered in the senatorial districts. The petition is titled Constituencies Petition for the Recall of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan on grounds of loss of confidence, stressing that the undersigned are duly registered voters of the Kogi Central Senatorial District and hereby invoke their right under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to formally demand the recall of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan from the Nigerian Senate. The constituent said, in particular, the petition for the recall of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is brought pursuant to Section 69 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, as well as INEC's regulation and guidelines for recall petitions. They also said the petition arises from the loss of confidence in the senator on the grounds of gross misconduct, abuse of office, evasion of due process, and a pattern of deceitful behavior that has not only embarrassed the people of Kogi Central, but has also tarnished the integrity of the Nigerian Senate and nation's democratic institutions. Now, last week, if you remember, I don't know if you saw those videos, you know, people came out. There were so many interviews going on there where people came out to say they were called for an empowerment program to come with their voters card, and it turns out that, you know, in the end they were their cards were going to be used for the recall process. What are your thoughts on this report?
You know, this Natasha issue is probably going to bring a coalition between some of us and those gullible women, some gullible women who may see it from the feminine aspect of it. But some of us will say this. The facts are there to speak for itself. Natasha approached this issue like almost like a schoolgirl. It's this, I mean, they ask you to sit somewhere else and you said no. And the Senate has procedure. The Senate gives the president of the Senate right to change your seat even on an hourly basis. There are rules. So even if a state president says leave and stay here, it is their rule. All you need is to stay there and then talk from your seat.
Right.
Now, when that is happening, all of a sudden you say, yeah, this is happening because of this or because of that or because that is, for instance, you were a girl and then you go back and say you came late. The question will be, did you come late? So if you were the person who you feel that those things you were claiming were right, that is even when you will become more pious and more righteous in obeying the rules. Right. So you know what I mean? You just know that, look, that assuming those things she said was right, you know, assuming they were right. So you wouldn't want to, if you have a boss that is harassing you, and so you wouldn't want to come late again, because you know that maybe for small-minded bosses that, oh, when you come late, the man will happen that he's just looking for a loopholes, like what we used to say in Christianity, that the devil always look for small thing to pin the person. So, assuming that is correct. And so, for you now to have failed this, and then begin to say this is because of this, was it because of that you refused to obey this? Are you saying that? No.
But she has said she was not informed, you know, prior to her seat being changed, and she was ought to be informed that her seat has been changed.
Orji Zokalo told you that he was a principal member of the Senate, and as such, there are seats that he's supposed to get, which is other than what he has gotten. Check, that's Orji Zokalo. That is by hierarchy. There's a word they use, you know, in legislative world. For want of such word, let me use the word hierarchy. By hierarchy, Orji Zokalo is higher than Natasha in that Senate.
Right.
But the same day, Orji Zokalo moved seat. All you needed to come is, you have the sergeant at arm who will tell you your seat is no longer here, it's here. Strict. You don't need to, they don't need to call you. You are coming to the Senate. They didn't move you out of Senate. They didn't suspend you. They only changed your seat. So if you come, they said, and they have made a difference that, look, this whole thing was done by the atheists and privileged, those who does that. And they have changed your seat. Why was they informed you? They have informed you and they've told you to go and sit there. So why wouldn't you sit? Why must you just wait? Why can't you sit and stay there and address them?
Now, do you think 6 months? Do you think 6 months is, you know, do you think 6 months isn't too much for not agreeing to change your seat?
No, she was not only suspended for not agreeing to change her seat.
What other rule did she float?
Of course, you saw her. She was embarrassing the Senate before the media.
How do you mean embarrassing?
Yes, even she conceded to the fact that, well, I didn't want to speak. There are things you don't, that in the Senate, when something is happening around the Senate, you only use the Senate forum to say that you don't go on air, because those are rules.
Right.
Those are their rules. So she has also flaunted the rules, and of course you see her talking with this media, saying that, how many times have you seen Akpabio talk? You think Akpabio doesn't have his own part of the story? You think he doesn't have? You have privilege. You have a disciplinary committee that's been sacked. That's where you air a view. You don't, for instance, in an organization
was she given the opportunity to air her view?
A disciplinary committee was set up for her immediately. They set up a disciplinary committee.
Who accepted the petition when she brought it?
Who I don't understand.
When she brought she came to file a petition on what she was, her complaint, as it were. The complaint was accepted by, Senator Akpabio.
Yes.
Whom is the accused?
Who will? See, there is a Senator Akpabio. There is the president of the Senate. You must understand the difference. That, for instance, do you know I can petition the president to the president? It's not about him. It's about the fact that when those petition is gone there, no wonder they set up a disciplinary committee to look into it. It's not Akpabio that should look into it. No wonder they have set up the Ethics and Privilege, which is a statutory committee that looks at the discipline of the Senate. Right. They have said that, so all you need is to move it to the Ethics and Privilege Committee that even Akpabio will go and submit himself to. But all of a sudden, while you are still submitting, you are talking.
Now, there have been several arguments as regards this 6-month suspension. They said it's not meant to exceed 14 days. Because when you suspect somebody for 6 months, you deprive their constituents, as it were, the rights of their benefits that they're supposed to enjoy by,
Now, let me tell you, even in jail terms, I'm using the jail terms. Now, the jail term, you can commit several offenses. You can commit several offenses, and each of those offenses will be given, assuming they are 2 years term, and then you will be given 2 year term. Your own dominion, the way you behave, your behavior could make the judge allow the whole of those years to run concurrently. That means that the judge will say 2 years starts from today. The other 2 years starts from today. The other 2 years starts from today. That means that 3 offenses you are running it concurrently. But again, the judge could also say, because of your dominion, this one will start after the expiration of this and after the expiration of this. That's it. So when you begin to look at one offense, you just brought out one offense, which could be 14 days, like you said. What other offense that you have gone to embarrass the Senate, other than looking at it from the Senate point of view? Do you know, if you watch that video, do you know that apart from even not sitting there, there was a threat that looked like, I'm not afraid of you? What's that? Look at a man in the House of Reps, I think a Labour person, that was saying something on that day. As soon as the speaker said, my friend, sit down, he sat down. He wasn't angry. He sat down, and just after that, he then raised up a motion and then still said the same thing. They will say, sit down. You know it's the right of the presiding officer to so do. I said, no, I will deal with you. You're already committing another offense other than even disobedience to the constitutional authority. That's why you don't allow emotion. See, in Senate, Natasha is not a woman. She's a senator. Don't take it. She is just a senator. She has a right like any other male senator. A senator is a senator, whether a female. As soon as you are qualified to become a senator and you are elected to be a senator, you're a senator. So nobody will say, maybe she's behaving like that because she's a woman. No. They are dealing with her as a senator of the Federal Republic. They distinguish that one at that. And so there are certain things you don't begin to say. Now,
given the report I did mention, when I was reading after I was on going through the story with you, as regards the INEC receiving the petition for her recall, what are your thoughts as regards, people in her constituents, many of them going around after they have found out that, the empowerment scheme, as it were, is a scam, because they were asked for their IDs, and some of them did say, that they were being called to even take some form of money and offer that. What are your thoughts as them gathering this volume of this and taking it to INEC now? Is this something we should believe in, to say, okay, these are actually people that want to recall their senator back, or are we going to say this is a hoax and it might not be genuine?
You see, everything in politics is political. Okay. Everything is politics is political. Now, even the people who are doing that could also be mobilized to do that.
The people doing what?
The people who has come to say no, they asked us to come for empowerment, and then all of a sudden they took our signature to the place. That could have been a real narrative. I'm using the word, I'm being careful with those words.
Okay.
Another narrative could also be that that thing they did is a product of another lobby that came and they came to do it. Believe me, I'm in politics, I know what happens. So in all of that, now the onus is on the INEC. They have submitted this thing, and INEC has seen valid signature, and INEC has seen...
But now, even the INEC in Kogi said they are not aware of a recall for Natasha on the day that event was going on.
No, they have not recalled Natasha.
Right.
It's a petition.
Right. They said they are not aware.
They don't need. They have sent it to INEC. They have sent it to INEC. They don't, either INEC local government, INEC state, or INEC national. All you need is you represent it to INEC. You can send it to Abuja. You can send it to local government. As long as you have the document, you don't need to call them. See, look at INEC still has a window to prove that. Otherwise, even Natasha had does, and those people who said they signed and they didn't sign, have a window. Now, if INEC has received that petition, then the fact that you have received the petition does not mean the person has been recalled.
Okay.
No, you will not text the petition again through a referendum. You will not go to vote. There's going to be a vote, like you're running an election. It's not those persons. What those people have done is to satisfy that INEC can conduct a referendum. It's not like INEC should recall her. No. Okay. Now, having gotten that, that means there's a required signatories that INEC can act on in a recall process. Yes. And so what they have done is that they don't need INEC. They don't need to call INEC to supervise that. It's like me writing a petition. The petition says that 3 of us must sign, either by coercion or whatever, or manipulation or plea or whatever. I got your signature, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. That has satisfied that my petition can be accepted by INEC.
Yeah.
Simple. INEC has now seen the petition and will now come and say, okay, let us now go into do this thing. We're going to announce a date that will be supervised by the international community, supervised by other observers, just like an election. They will come back and vote. That is when you will say now, because you didn't sign now, then vote against it. I mean, what's yours is to vote against it. He won in the court. He won in the election now and became a senator, isn't it?
Right.
And these people are there. So they are going to text it within that same place. And then you're coming to vote. This one doesn't matter. The vote can say no, we won't recall her. The vote can say we could recall her. What this has done is to satisfy the fact that this number of persons, this is the number of persons in the constituency that will sign. If not, if they have said, no, this is what you will just recall her, they will just recall her. But this is not about recalling. This is about the process of going to now text your popularity again. If you feel that this is well not done, then go and text your popularity again. The popularity is an election. They will give you time to campaign. They will give you time to move around. And they will announce the date. They will announce the date for her. Then the people will come and say, okay, they will vote. When the vote comes out and she is recalled, she will be recalled automatically. When the vote comes out and she is not recalled, the process stops. And then again, those people who have said they didn't sign, isn't it?
Right.
They can go to court and say we didn't sign, or we were signed under duress, or we signed under. Then you will not tell the people, because you have to define what a duress is. First, is this your signature? Yes. So I was coerced. Okay, how? You will not be the only on defense is on you to defend how you were coerced. When they came to your house, forced you, asked you to sign, you will show them evidence. You don't just say something, because I know politics. I know people have signed a petition. People have signed something willingly and go back because the other person has gone to mobilize them. All you need is to know the number of people and just go to meet them and they begin to lobby them. And they go back to say, no, we didn't sign. So the court will not just let you just say that. And you have satisfied the petition. INEC will come and text that. Then you go and vote.